This video is your review on equations and inequalities. This is also partnered with our 7th grade STAAR Flippable. If you will look under the tab that says equations and inequalities, then you will find this section, and it says one-step equations. All right. So on one-step equations, they are exactly what they say. They are just one-step equations. And it says use the inverse operation to solve for each variable. So the inverse operations for addition is subtraction. So to solve, you subtract. Change colors. All right, to subtract, you would add. To multiply, if you're multiplying, you would divide. And to divide, you would multiply. So on our first example here, x plus 4 equals 7, we know that's an addition problem. So to solve it, we would need to subtract 4. So we get x equals, this becomes a 0 pair. 7 minus 4 is 3. On our subtraction example, n minus 8 equals -6. To undo a subtraction, you add. So we would have to add 8 to both sides. So you end up with n equals, well, with our integer rules, -6 and a +8, that says you subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the larger value. So 8 minus 6 is 2. 8 is larger, so it would be +2. On our multiplying, and to solve them, you would divide. So when you have a letter and a number together, that is multiplication. So to undo multiplication, you divide by 5. So x equals 22. And then our division one, you take this division by 7 and you have to multiply by 7. So then x equals 70. On our inequalities, the steps are exactly the same. The only difference is when you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip that symbol. That's the only time that it's different. So addition, you still subtract. Subtraction, you add. Multiplication, you divide. And division, you multiply. So x plus 4 is greater than 7. You just subtract 4. Our symbol does not change for addition or subtraction, so we end up with x is greater than 3. For n minus 8 again, you add. There's no change when you're adding or subtracting, so we get n is less than 2. For multiplication, you can look at the number in front of your variable. If it is negative, this symbol must flip. So I make a note right here that I'm going to flip that symbol. So I'm going to divide by -5. So then x is going to be less than or equal to -5. 22. Now, if that same problem was 5x is greater than or equal to 100, we'll just change the problem up a little bit. Notice this is not negative, so we would still divide by 5, but our symbol would not change. So x would be greater than or equal to 20. On our division one, you have to multiply by 7. It is not a negative number, so we keep our symbol the same, and so x is less than 70. On two-step equations, it's basically the exact same thing except two operations. What you want to do is determine the operations used in the problem and then undo in reverse order. I'm going to work these problems out over here, but I have them written out on your Flippable completely so that you don't have to try to make sure it fits. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite 6x minus 7 equals 41. Now, the first thing we want to do, step 1, is determine your operations. So this is a multiplication and a subtraction problem. So when you are undoing or solving, you're going in reverse of what happened to the x value. So if we read this out, it would say x times 6 minus 7 equals 41. And so our subtraction would be our first operation to undo. And based on our one-step equations, the subtraction opposite is addition. So we have to add 7 to both sides. So we add 7. So we get 6x equals 48. Now we have a one-step multiplication problem. So we have to divide by 6 from both sides. So then x is going to equal 8. On our next example, n divided by 8 plus 5 is greater than 12. Remember, I told you to look at the number with the letter to determine if you're going to flip your symbol or not. And as long as it is not negative, you do not have to flip your symbol. So in this case, it is not negative, so I don't have to note that my symbol needs to be flipped. All right, so this is a division and an addition problem. So we have to subtract 5. So we end up with n divided by 8 is greater than 7. And then we have to multiply by 8. So then our final answer is n is greater than 56. The last section we need to go over are the inequality graphing rules. And these are the inequality symbols you will see. Our first symbol is the greater than, and it's going to be an open circle, and the line is going to go to the right. If we put the line under it, which is equal to, then the circle is just colored in. And remember, more ink to write the symbol, more ink on the circle. And then we have our less than. Let me change colors. This is our less than symbol. It kind of points to the left. And again, open circle, our line moves to the left. And then less than or equal to, we would color in the circle and our line would still move to the left. So no line under the symbol means open circle, and the line under the symbol means a colored in circle. So let's look at what that would look like real quick. Let's just say I want you to graph x is greater than or equal to 7. You would have a number line, Actually, you would probably have several number lines on your test to pick from. Okay, and so what we would want to look for one, we have the line under there. So any answer choice that doesn't have a colored in circle is wrong. And so our colored in circle needs to be at 7. So we colored it in. And then it's going to be greater than. It kind of points to the direction. As long as your letter is on the left, it points to the direction you need to go. So it's going to move this way. Let's do one more. X is less than 3. Draw a number line. Okay, so less than means our symbol is going to be open. So it would just be an open circle. So anything that was colored in would be wrong. And then less than moves to the left. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.